My name is Jack. I've spent all of my professional life working in medicine, most of my career having been as an anaesthetist, but in the last decade or two I've been practising addiction medicine. My addiction became quite florid while I was a medical student. I became dependent on alcohol. When I look back, I can see that now. I didn't know it at the time. I just thought I was a heavy party drinker, heavy social drinker. It's clear to me now that I was an addict from my mid to late teens. I did manage to graduate in medicine, and that did nothing to stop my drinking. And later on, that addiction to alcohol progressed to the point where I became addicted to a whole lot of other drugs. In my last few years of active addiction, it was narcotics. And that was a line I thought I would never, ever cross. Addiction is not something that we choose. I've yet to meet a happy addict. Now, the addictive life is miserable. Addicts don't use the way they do because they want to. They use the way they do because they have to. Addiction is a disease of compulsion, and that compulsion is so strong that they will use, and I did too, without any regard to the consequences. You know it's going to wreck your marriage. You know it's going to wreck your social life. You know all these things are going to go down the drain, but you still keep going with using those drugs. There's a little voice inside that says, I need help, I need to change. But I'd hate anybody to find out what was really wrong with me because of the stigma. I will be blamed. I will be shamed. I will be embarrassed. I'll be all of these things because I've got a highly stigmatised disorder. And of course, there's nothing unique about addiction. There have been lots of diseases in the past and in the present that are highly stigmatised. We just have to look back on leper colonies and people with tuberculosis. They were shamed and blamed for their own disease. And now we have addiction being treated in much the same way. Recovery is a process. It's a process of change where we do whatever we can to resolve our addiction problem. We get to a point where the price we pay for our continuing active addiction is so high that, in my case, I was determined that I had to change somehow or other. It required 6 hospitalizations to drug and alcohol facilities before I was finally, in October of 1992, put down my alcohol and all the other drugs for the last time. It's been an incredible journey, and it's been the recovery has just been so worth it. All of a sudden, the world opens up with all its opportunities. Our relationships improve, our social life improves, our physical health improves, certainly our mental health improves. One of the most important things we can do is for people that have experienced addiction to speak out and to be seen to be otherwise normal, okay, ordinary people. When people come out, especially prominent people, and demonstrate that there's nothing evil about them, they just happen to be sick and they have a disease from which they've recovered. And that sort of activity does a lot to reduce the stigma. There is nothing shameful. They deserve the same treatment as people with appendicitis, cancer, broken legs, or any other physical or mental health disorder. I've spent a lot of time with particularly parents of addicts, but often with their spouse. You can't do really anything to force an addict to change. The addict must make that decision herself or himself. All I think we can do as family members is be sympathetic, be kind, be loving, but not enabling. We shouldn't be judgmental either, or nagging. That's the other thing. Why don't you stop using? Can't you, for God's sake, stop, shooting up heroin and turn your attention to something more productive? That doesn't work. I think the most productive approach, as I said, is a loving and caring and sympathetic attitude, acknowledging that the loved one has got a very serious medical disorder, a health problem, and if there are any signs that that person wishes to change their behaviour or change their life, turn their life around, then to make the appropriate inquiries as to where is a suitable detox facility or treatment facility that might be effective in this particular case. The main thing I'd like people to understand is that addiction is treatable. We can recover. If only we can open that door to seek help and to start on our recovery journey.